smut in every sense of the word. Isabel winced, but she didn't disagree. Besides, Lord Hans has the constitution of a gargoyle. I've seen him eat pepper radishes like they were as sweet as those apples. Why, I could pour him a tall, frosty glass of wormroot poison, and it wouldn't give him much more than a stomachache, and a small one at that. Isabel's lips twitched, but she summoned up a stern look, trying to keep me in line. Always a losing battle. I was rather incorrigible that way. Regardless, you need to make the pie, Lady Everleigh. You were the only one who was, available. Oh, really? I arched an eyebrow, and Isabel dropped her dark brown gaze from mine. Available? Well, that was a nice way of saying that it was once again time for me to earn my keep as Lady Everleigh Sapphira Winter Blair. A mouthful of fancy names that meant very little in the grand scheme of things, but they, and the lineage that went along with them, were good enough for my cousin, Queen Cordelia Alexandra Summer Blair, to have me trotted out like a trained monkey whenever a so-called royal presence was required. Like wasting a morning baking a pie for some foreign ambassador who probably wouldn't eat a single bite of it. Isabel winced again, causing lines to groove into her bronze skin, then smoothed back her graying black hair, the way she always did whenever she had bad news. I'm afraid that it's not just one pie. Lord Hans requested 13 of them. It's his favorite dessert. The Andvarian king's granddaughter loves it, too. She's also part of the ambassador's contingent. I believe her name is Gemma. I glanced at the stacks of pie tins half hidden behind the bowls of apples. Anger pricked my heart that I was always the one singled out for such tasks, but the sharp sting was quickly replaced by cold, numbing acceptance. Such was life at Sevenspire. Such was my life at the palace anyway, ever since I'd first arrived here after my parents had been murdered 15 years ago. I was expected to go where I was told, and do what I was ordered, all while wearing a sunny smile and spouting flowery platitudes about how grateful I was for everyone's meager, miserly generosity. Orphans didn't get to have choices, ambitions, or most especially opinions. I'd learned that long ago, but it was the one thing I could never quite accept. No matter how much meaningless protocol, empty niceties, and polite drudgery I was expected to reiterate, regurgitate, and perform on command. I forgot the orange flakes. Isabel's voice was soft and sympathetic. Let me get those, and then we'll get started, Evie. Besides my parents, Isabel was the only person who had ever called me Evie, although she did it only when no one else could hear. More silly protocol. She was also one of the few people who was kind to me, not because she had to be, but because she simply wanted to be. When I was younger, I had spent countless hours in the kitchen, sitting in the corner reading books, and watching her turn mounds of flour and pounds of sugar into dazzling displays of confectionery delights. Isabel fondly referred to me as her taste tester, since my enhanced sense of smell always let me tell how well a cake had turned out before I'd had a single bite. But that was just an excuse for her to sneak me treats. She was the closest thing to a mother that I'd had since my own had died. But she still had to do her duty. And today, that duty included making me make pies. Isabel placed a warm, comforting hand on my arm and gave it a gentle squeeze. Then she hurried over to one of the pantries full of syrups, spices, and other seasonings. Our pie-making station was in the back corner, away from the other preparation stations, as well as the competing warmth of the ovens and the frost of the metal chillers which lined opposite walls. It was just after 8 o'clock, and a dizzying array of people moved through the kitchen. Young pages delivering breakfast orders, teenage servers carrying trays, cookmasters cracking eggs and frying smoked sausages. Everyone wore black boots and leggings, along with long-sleeve scarlet tunics, trimmed with gold thread.